Okay, welcome to. Oh, sorry, I was looking for my sharpener, pencil sharpener. Welcome to another video and another portrait sketch this time. I'm gonna make my own thing out of it, and I think I'm gonna work with black pencil and um, just maybe use only this as a tool. Let's see what we can do. Okay, we have a fairly young woman, and I'll start with a little bit of an indication of the skull this time, and the center line, which is fairly much to the side. I don't know where this came from, but okay. And I'll quickly try to indicate the shape of the face that I find acceptable. Maybe make it a bit cartoonesque. There we go, something like so. Ear over here. And let's see if this wants to show up on camera. Yeah, it does. Nose and mouth area. I don't know if I did this one already some time ago. Well, doesn't matter. I'll do it again. So I'm gonna give her bigger eyes than in real life. It's always nice cartoonification. And trying to hone in on the placement and proportions. Her nose is very pointy. Going to maybe exaggerate that. Bloop. There we go. And we see the nostrils. It's a fairly narrow, small, cutesy nose. And looking now for the brows. The brows are relatively dark and wide. And I am trying to make the eyes opened, but with some relaxation. Bigger eyes also means bigger irises and pupils. She is looking at us, so I need to carefully think about the placement of these irises. And there's a little shimmer in the eyes and the pupils. Maybe I'm also gonna show it on the other side. There we go. Let's see, what does this look like from a mirror image point of view? Well, kind of fun. I'll just continue and make something out of this. She has very poofy lips. I'm maybe gonna exaggerate those. A very recognizable kind of mouth shape with this upper lip being uh, quite full and the lower lip even poofier. Feeling my way through while sketching. Yep, something like this. And we have the ball of the chin. I'll move it over just a bit. Somewhere over here. And this line has a curve to it, but I'll keep it fairly straight. And you know what I need? You know what she needs? She needs a neck. Given she's a cartoonish kind of version of this character, I'll make the neck a little bit thinner, longer. Well, it's not that much longer. And there we go. She has a bun hair, tightly bunned in the back of her neck. Maybe this is a bit more straight. And yes, I am switching between this riding or underhand grip and this overhand grip with initial kind of large shapes and setups. I'll use this overhand grip and with more refined or smaller areas and things like that, I can switch to the other grip. Here I'm just trying to quickly establish a sense of all this hair that she's got, and it's also swooping down the side of her cheek here. And well, this is all very light, non-committal, kind of searching, and I'll try to indicate the little earring she has. I don't know who this is, whether she's a famous actor or model or something like that. She's quite beautiful, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's famous for being some sort of Hollywood star or model or whatever. Looking for a little bit of the indication of the clothing. Okay. Let's see what we got. Okay. And so, cool, I guess. Gonna here and there try to commit a little bit to some decisions. And yes, I do want to keep my pencil sharp. That's why I was looking for the sharpener before touching anything, because I think it's a vital, crucial tool when working with this medium. And I see this nice kind of swirl or coiling happening in the hair here. And I see more coils happening here, but I'm gonna keep it a bit simplified maybe on this side. Well, a bit. I still wanna capture the liveliness and swerviness of the hair. So yeah, here over here it's falling down the side like this, and then curling over and under. Here we see a lot of lines being pulled toward that bun in the back of her head. And need to maybe indicate a little bit, well, almost graphically, the shell of the ear. And now I'm gonna commit a bit more to this line and the idea of the rubber band or scrunchie in her back or in the hair. And this is fun, the kind of three-dimensionality wrapping around of the bun. I want to show these kinds of lines, basically balling up the hair. It's very neat, very tight. And I think I do need a little bit more mass on the top and back of the hair. Something like so. And yes, she is cartoonified quite a bit. Especially these ridiculously large eyes. There we go. So yeah, I am committing a bit more and trying to basically work up toward that point in time where I can look for a little bit of shading. Which is probably right about now. Her poofy lips. She has just the slightest little opening of the mouth. It's like her lips are so poofy that they won't close properly. Poor girl. All right. Very kind of standard-esque 3D type of face. especially the way I designed it here. So let's stick to this and not do too much more about all the details. Instead, I'm gonna just give it some value pass. Well, maybe hard to see, but I'll get around to the hair. I should have maybe considered a bit the kind of direction in which I want to hatch in some values. But then again, maybe it's not that relevant. I do want to kind of catch the underside of this nose as well. Hoping this shows up on camera. Yeah. And it is one of those lighting situations where I might want to tweak things a bit for clarity's sake or appeal's sake. Now the lines I did in the beginning, and even some of the lines I did just before starting this hatching of the values, I can of course still or they will be reduced in their kind of dominance when this value is introduced, and I can still see a lot of leeway in terms of darkening areas even more. All that to say that even the initial lines are not that, let's say, definitive or crucial. I am gonna thicken these lashes, especially the ones on the top side of the eyes, quite a bit. Maybe show a little bit of this fanning out. And just ever so slightly, a little bit of shading on the inside of the eye socket. Can't hurt. It's difficult to say what's happening on the hair, but some parts definitely are clearly catching some light and brightening up. Some parts are a little bit darker. Now the tip of my pencil is starting to wear off, but the kind of softness of it does help in establishing the values and hatching for the hair. And well, at this point it's pretty much all dark. And I am gonna, come in with some refinement for all this shading. So also this is just an initial pass of light and dark. Nothing to be too concerned about or worried about. That is not to say we don't have to take our time to think about what we're doing, observe what's happening in the reference, and decide quite consciously where and why to make it dark. But if we do that, then a little inaccuracy or mistake is not the end of the world. Let's see, I see a lot of this area. Now with the hair, I do want to try to hatch in the direction of the strands of the hair. That is going to help the kind of volumetric read of the hair. So that is why you sometimes see me making short strokes instead of long, I would say more efficient stroke, but that's just to not break the kind of illusion of the strands of the hair. Also here with this bun, there is a definite band of light kind of centered in the bun, and so I'm following these directions to kind of help me not lose the sense of hair, right? Here I am going to incorporate a bit clearer shadow area, also underneath the chin, the jaw. And we see this fairly, well, it can be quite rough here. Quick, dark patch of shadow. And it's just one of these things that I like about this pencil. It is a wax-based pencil, meaning it will not erase. It's not very suitable for erasing. So in that sense, you shouldn't use it because you think, oh, it's pencil, I can erase it. But it does provide very deep, rich darks and the kind of softness of a pencil as well. So that's why I do like to use it. And really provide myself ample time and opportunity to develop the sketch in terms of tonal values, details, doing whatever I think needs doing. And of course, my weakness is that I am kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. So, for this specific medium, you'll find plenty artists out there on the internet, social media, that are way better at handling and controlling this tool and exploiting its uh, pros, advantages, while mitigating its downsides than me. Thinking, for example, of Fluhardy. I believe he's called Thomas Fluhardy, who likes to use a wax-based pencil, mostly dark blue, if I'm not mistaken. But is really adamant in showing all detail intricacies and very high contrast with just that pencil. In any case, most of what I'm doing with whichever medium I'm using is based on the same method and principles, definitely the same principles. So that's one of the things I hope people might get out of my videos, that whatever medium or style you choose, you are probably helped by some of the kind of tried and true methods and principles of sketching, at least for I would say figurative or representational purposes. Okay, well, yammering on. I'm kind of progressing slowly but certainly. Sharpening the pencil again. Let's see. What do I think of everything? Well, it is a sketch. That much is certain. It is, well, something, I suppose. Maybe if I don't give up just yet, it'll turn into something I like. So yeah, you see I can boost the contrasts and boost it some more, and then boost it some more. This pencil can get really dark and intense. So I think from here on out it would just take time, and well, I still have a bit of time left. I do have to go pick up my daughter from school in that bit, half an hour or so. But I'll just keep working on this. And there are some areas or lines that I think still need to be intensified. The line of the mouth and probably the opening of the mouth or the slight gap in between one lip and the other. I also want to maybe intensify the nostril. I'm working on quite a little bit of padded surface, which is usually preferred by me for working with ballpoint pen. Kind of makes it harder now to intensify the pressure that I'm able to apply with this pencil. But okay, I'll stick to it. Kind of starting to get into the finer details and hatchings and just darkening up some of these areas. I also definitely want to show kind of a glowing effect for this hair. So there is this transition between the band of highlight to the darkest values. And that is something I can try to kind of incorporate. I do see a lot of dark still necessary in this hair. So it is at this stage that you just have to take your time, or at least I have to take my time, not get too impatient, take a break before continuing. I'm looking for a little line of the eyelid and just a hint of the nostril here. This reminds me of an exercise I had when I was in college studying industrial design. I had some fairly old school drawing classes, and one of those was using colored pencils to render some box or soda can with colors and take into account the light and of course all the graphics and colors. And so you'd build up the values and colors to get the shading you want and the specific colors you'd want. And it was a terrible exercise. Not gonna lie. It took so much time and patience. Um, but of course, it did train me a lot in handling pencil, but also seeing and understanding value and color. And boy, did it train my patience level. I'm just trying to look for some of the finer details and slowly but surely progressing. It's probably in the video now very boring to watch. And maybe I'll speed all of this up or do what's it called, a voiceover for this particular part. But do want to kind of try to, bring things to more of a finished or elaborated state. And just show you that that process, at least what that process looks like for me with this particular medium. Let's see, this twirls around. Ooh, made a mistake. That's perfectly fine. We'll overpower it. Twirls around like this. Some darkness still for this little strand of hair. And definitely this one. And I can take hours and hours to keep doing this and have fun. I think it's a good idea for me to take a little break and continue afterwards. Probably not going to be today anymore. So I think I'll stop the recording and, well, just continue another day. Just coming in with some graphics. There we go. You see, I'm still able to boost the contrast more and more. And that is just uh, very gratifying about this medium. Here as well, I'm very tempted to still increase the contrast of this hair falling behind the face and swooping backward, or starting to coil like this. And it's a weird kind of swoop that's happening. There we go. Slowly but certainly progressing. I'll take a bit more time and then I'll leave it be. Go and pick up my daughter. Maybe show a little bit of gloss on the lips. So I can definitely show some tonal value for the lips. It's still in the light and it's not a very dark or intense color of lip gloss, but can help to just punch out the little shiny glossy bit. And time to sharpen again. Usually, for such a process as this, I just put on some music and relax, or a podcast, or just a good old-fashioned radio with some news. Just so I can, kind of relax and zone out a bit. I do notice that talking to myself like an idiot for the camera also kind of helps. So as long as there's something to also, take my mind off the laborious endeavors and just relax. I'm going for very subtle nuances and midtones now, probably even too subtle to bother myself with, but can't help it. Overall, kind of transition on the forehead from light to dark. Definitely still need to intensify all the dark on the hair way more. And probably let's rotate the page. I'm sorry, I know it's not nice to look at, but I want to use this overhand grip and just make myself a comfortable angle. Now deepen and darken some of these hair strands. The hair is fairly dark on top. So I'm really starting to increase the intensity of the dark. And you see that all of a sudden this light looks way too light. So it's not as light as some of the speculars on her face, because the hair is dark. And now we start seeing that difference. Right, so I'm pushing back the light value in the hair as well. And I'm gonna have to do that for this area as well. Still trying to keep in mind the strands of hair and the direction that they are taking on. But definitely showing a darker and darker, intensifying value for the hair. So, don't know if you saw this coming, but this is the kind of building up that I always can do with this medium. And it's just quite fun. So now the hair starts to look, to me at least, significantly darker than the tone of the skin. And I find myself, for this hair still referring to the reference quite a bit. But all in all, it's getting easier to let go of the reference. Because all the basics, the elements, and the values are in there. Okay, what time is it? Yes, I'm gonna have to call it quits. I'll quickly intensify just a tad bit the value, or lower the value for the bun. Still thinking about that kind of directional toroid-like volume and behavior of the strands of hair. Really deepening the darks, especially near the beginning here. Once again, having to, or causing me to have to lower the entire value also on the highlights or the specular area. And I am getting impatient, so probably a good idea to just leave it now and return another day or another moment. But yeah, there we go. Well, this has been fun. I hope you like the process. Hope you got something out of it. And hope to see you again next time. Thanks so much for now. And of course, have fun with all your sketching, drawing, art endeavors in general, whatever art you like to make. I am really going to put an end to it now. And you know me, if I say that, probably means I'll continue for another 10 minutes. But I definitely don't want to keep my daughter waiting. So I'll leave it here. Thanks, guys. Bye for now. See you next time. Cheers.